Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're sharing an emotional and unforgettable story. When Julia saw his face again after the accident, she couldn't believe what he said. Stay tuned as we take you through every heartfelt moment, every lesson, and every twist in their journey. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest love stories, emotional journeys, and inspiring real-life moments. Now, let's dive into the story. Julia and Michael had always shared a connection that felt almost unspoken, a bond that grew quietly through years of shared experiences, laughter, and late-night conversations that seemed to stretch endlessly. From the first time they met at a local art exhibition, Julia had been drawn to Michael's calm presence and thoughtful eyes, while Michael found in Julia an authenticity and warmth that was rare in the bustling city around them. Friends often said they were inseparable, the kind of couple whose presence together made everything else fade into the background. Their lives were intertwined in the most ordinary yet profound ways. Weekend coffees at the small cafe on 5th Street, walks along the riverbanks, discussions about art, literature, and dreams for the future. Julia remembered telling Michael one rainy evening, "I don't think I've ever met someone who just understands me." He had smiled softly, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face, and replied, "And I don't think I've ever met anyone I'd rather understand." Those words, simple yet weighted with emotion, became a quiet thread in the fabric of their relationship. Then came the accident. It was sudden, unanticipated. A collision on a rain-slick road that left Michael hospitalized, fighting through pain and uncertainty. Julia, frantic and overwhelmed, spent every waking hour at his side, holding his hand as machines hummed and doctors moved with precise urgency. Friends and family observed her unwavering presence with awe, noting how her determination seemed fueled by something beyond mere love. It was devotion tempered with fear and hope. During those first days, Michael remained largely unconscious, his recovery uncertain. Julia spoke to him softly, recounting memories, reading passages from books they had shared, whispering, "I'm here, Michael. I won't leave. Just wake up for me." The nurses noted her calm yet persistent presence, remarking that it was rare to see such a balance of hope and steadiness in the midst of tragedy. Psychologists often describe this stage of caregiving as a profound emotional test, a mix of patience, endurance, and unconditional support. Julia's commitment illustrated this perfectly, embodying the emotional resilience that can emerge in moments of crisis. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Michael's eyes fluttered open. The first moment of recognition was fragile, tentative, a blink, a slight squeeze of her hand, but it was enough to ignite a swell of relief and emotion. Julia leaned close, brushing her forehead against his and whispering, "You're awake. Thank God, you're awake." Michael's voice, weak but present, carried a tone of disbelief as he murmured, "Julia, is it really you?" "Yes, it's me," she said, gripping his hand with renewed intensity. "I'm right here. You're going to be okay." The following days were a careful dance of recovery, conversations, and small victories. Julia encouraged him gently, reminding him of their shared dreams, the art exhibitions they planned to visit, and the quiet evening walks along the river. But amidst the tenderness, there was an underlying tension, a sense that Michael had glimpsed something profound in those hours of unconsciousness, something he was struggling to express. One evening, as she adjusted his pillows, he looked at her with an intensity that made her heart constrict and asked, "Julia, what if I told you something I've never said before?" Julia paused, her voice barely a whisper. "You can tell me anything, Michael. You know that." He took a deep breath, as though gathering courage from the rhythm of her heartbeat beside him. "During those hours, I saw everything differently. I realized I've been holding back, being cautious, and I I don't want to anymore. Julia, I love you more than I've ever admitted. I think I always have. Tears blurred Julia's vision as she leaned closer, feeling the weight of his words, the authenticity and vulnerability behind them. Michael, I love you too, she said softly, and nothing's going to change that. We've survived this, together, and we'll move forward together. Experts in trauma recovery note that experiences like these often catalyze emotional honesty in ways that ordinary life rarely permits. When confronted with the fragility of existence, people tend to voice truths they might have deferred, creating profound emotional openings. Julia and Michael's exchange reflected this dynamic, a shared acknowledgement of love that had always existed, but was now illuminated by vulnerability and near loss. Family and friends, observing this reunion, remarked on the quiet depth of their bond. One nurse later commented, "It's rare to witness something so genuine." Their connection isn't just about romance. It's about mutual trust, resilience, and the capacity to face fear together. Public reaction on social media, after Julia shared parts of their story anonymously, highlighted a widespread resonance. People responded with admiration for their courage, their unwavering commitment, and the emotional honesty that emerged from trauma. Yet, amidst the joy, there was reflection. Julia often asked herself what it meant to truly love someone, whether love is measured in the calm of ordinary days or the steadfast presence during extraordinary crises. Michael, now recovering, began to confront his own assumptions about vulnerability and expression, realizing that life's interruptions often demand honesty and courage in equal measure. They had faced mortality, uncertainty, and pain, and through it all, their bond had emerged stronger yet tempered with a new awareness of life's delicate impermanence. Their conversations, often lingering into the quiet hours of the night, became opportunities for mutual understanding and planning. "I don't ever want to take tomorrow for granted," Julia said one evening, holding his hand as the city lights flickered outside the window. Michael nodded, a faint smile forming. "Neither do I. Every moment with you, it matters more than I realized." Even their medical team noted the emotional component of recovery. Psychologists emphasize that love and emotional support can significantly impact healing, accelerating physical recuperation and fostering resilience. Julia's presence was more than emotional. It was a tangible factor in Michael regaining strength, illustrating the profound interplay between psychological support and physical recovery. As days turned into weeks, they navigated rehabilitation, therapy sessions, and small routines that signaled progress. But underlying these routines was an unspoken question. How would their lives shift after such an abrupt confrontation with mortality? Michael, reflective yet determined, often asked, "Julia, do you think we'll ever see things the same way again?" Julia would answer thoughtfully, "We'll see them with clarity. We'll hold on tighter, speak more openly, and never take for granted what we have. That's what this experience teaches us." In this delicate balance of recovery, reflection, and renewed commitment, Julia and Michael were discovering not just the power of love, but the intricate lessons embedded in near loss. Lessons about presence, vulnerability, and the courage to speak one's truth, even when life feels uncertain. Their story, unfolding day by day, exemplified resilience, devotion, and the transformative potential of facing life's fragility together. Julia and Michael's recovery unfolded slowly, each day presenting new challenges, but also moments of profound connection. Friends who visited often commented on the subtle transformation in both of them. Julia, whose eyes had carried a mixture of fear and unwavering hope, now seemed to glow with a quiet determination. Michael, once hesitant to express vulnerability, began speaking openly about his fears, regrets, and hopes for the future. One afternoon, as he worked through physical therapy exercises with painstaking effort, he paused and looked at Julia. "I never realized how much I rely on you, not just for support, but for understanding. You see me, Julia, in ways no one else does." Julia, resting her hand gently on his arm, replied softly, "That's because I know you, all of you, and you're worth every moment of worry, every sleepless night. We've survived this together, and that means something deeper than words." Psychologists often note that shared trauma can accelerate emotional intimacy, but it can also unearth tensions that were previously unnoticed. In Julia and Michael's case, the accident had acted as both a catalyst for honesty and a mirror reflecting unspoken fears. Michael admitted that the near-death experience had forced him to confront not only the fragility of life, but also the years he had spent avoiding vulnerability. "I've hidden behind routines and distractions," he confessed one evening as rain tapped softly against the hospital window. "But seeing you by my side, I realized that shielding myself only creates distance. I don't want that anymore." Julia's response was measured, reflecting the emotional intelligence she had cultivated over the months. "We can rebuild together," she said, "but it will require honesty, patience, and letting go of fear. You've seen the worst, Michael. Now we have a chance to see what love can be at its truest." Family and close friends, observing these intimate conversations, remarked on the subtle shift in Michael's demeanor. He seemed lighter, yet contemplative, as if the accident had unshackled him from years of restrained emotion. Julia, meanwhile, balanced relief with introspection, recognizing that recovery was not only about physical healing, but emotional recalibration. Friends commented that her presence radiated a combination of hope, empathy, and strength, the type of quiet power that often shapes the trajectory of those around her. Medical professionals, too, noted the unique dynamic in their rehabilitation. Studies have shown that emotional connection can significantly enhance recovery outcomes, and Julia's dedication exemplified this principle. Michael's progress, both in mobility and emotional resilience, was closely tied to the unwavering support he received from Julia, illustrating the profound interplay between love, trust, and healing. Amidst the medical routines and therapy sessions, Julia and Michael found moments of unexpected levity. One afternoon, Michael attempted a joke about his clumsy attempts at walking with a cane, prompting Julia to laugh despite herself. "You're terrible at jokes, Michael," she teased, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "But I suppose that's part of your charm." He smiled, a slow, genuine curve of his lips, and responded, "Maybe it's my charm. Or maybe I just needed you here to laugh at me." These small interactions, while seemingly trivial, were laden with emotional significance. Experts in human behavior often emphasize the importance of humor, shared smiles, and lighthearted moments in navigating high-stress or traumatic circumstances. For Julia and Michael, these exchanges became the glue that held their evolving bond together, providing relief from fear while reinforcing intimacy. Yet, beneath the surface of these tender moments, a persistent undercurrent of reflection ran deep. Julia often pondered the questions that the accident had raised. How much of life is taken for granted, how fragile human connections can be, and what it truly means to be present for someone. She shared these reflections with Michael one evening as they sat by the window watching the city lights shimmer on wet streets. "We've been given a second chance," she whispered. "And it makes me wonder, what will we do differently? How will we live fully without fear?" Michael nodded thoughtfully, squeezing her hand. "I've realized I want to live without holding back. I want to be honest, open, to love you completely, without reservation. The accident showed me what matters. And that's you, Julia. Always you." Friends and relatives observed that the couple's story began to ripple outward, inspiring those around them to reconsider their own relationships and priorities. One close friend reflected, "Seeing them now, so honest and present with each other, makes you think, are we taking our loved ones for granted?" Life can change in an instant. Social media responses, after Julia shared aspects of their journey, echoed similar sentiments. Viewers expressed admiration for their courage, resilience, and a profound sincerity of their love, highlighting a universal resonance with the themes of vulnerability, healing, and human connection. As weeks passed, Michael's rehabilitation progressed steadily, and with it, the depth of their conversations deepened. One evening, as they reviewed his progress notes, Michael hesitated before speaking. "Julia, I need to tell you something more. When I was unconscious, there were moments I felt detached from life, but also aware of everything we've shared. I realized how much I've taken you for granted, even in small ways. I want to change that." Julia, sensing the gravity of his reflection, replied gently, "Change doesn't happen overnight, Michael, but awareness is the first step. And you've shown that courage, the courage to see clearly and act from the heart." These dialogues reflected a broader lesson often discussed in emotional and relationship studies: the transformative power of near-loss experiences. Traumatic events, while harrowing, can illuminate hidden truths, catalyze emotional honesty, and strengthen bonds when approached with empathy and intentionality. Julia and Michael's journey exemplified this principle, illustrating how adversity, when met with love and reflection, can foster profound personal growth and relational depth. Even mundane tasks became opportunities for growth. Preparing meals together, taking short walks in the hospital garden, and sharing stories from their past, each became a reminder of resilience and the importance of appreciating life's fleeting moments. Julia often said, "It's in these simple things that love truly shows itself." Michael, nodding in agreement, replied, "I'm learning that now. Every smile, every hand held, it matters more than I ever knew." The couple also began discussing their future more intentionally. "We have a chance to rewrite our story," Julia said one evening, brushing raindrops from the window pane. "Not a story defined by accident or fear, but by presence, honesty, and shared growth." Michael's response carried the quiet reverence of someone newly awakened to the fragility and beauty of life. "Then let's write it together, page by page, without hesitation or regret." Their medical team observed the positive psychological impact of this renewed commitment. Research indicates that emotional support, combined with intentional engagement in recovery, not only accelerates physical healing, but fosters cognitive and emotional resilience. Julia and Michael's story was becoming a testament to these principles, a real-life demonstration of how love, when combined with reflection and courage, can facilitate both recovery and relational transformation. Even their casual conversations took on new meaning. Michael would sometimes say, "Julia, when you laugh at my clumsiness, I feel alive again." Julia would smile and respond, "Then I'll laugh as much as I can." We'll embrace every moment, however small. These seemingly simple exchanges held profound weight, embodying lessons about presence, gratitude, and emotional attentiveness. As part 2 of their story continues to unfold, Julia and Michael are navigating a delicate balance of healing, reflection, and intentional reconnection. Each day brings new insights, challenges, and shared triumphs, forming a tapestry of experience that illustrates both the fragility and resilience of human love. Their journey demonstrates that recovery from trauma is never solely physical. It encompasses emotional growth, renewed understanding, and the courage to confront life's unpredictability with honesty and devotion. Julia and Michael's journey, following the initial stages of recovery, began to deepen in ways that none of their friends or family could have anticipated. The accident had left both physical and emotional scars, Yet these same scars became the foundation for the most honest and intimate conversations they had ever shared. Julia often reflected on the moments immediately following Michael's awakening. She remembered the quiet strength it took for him to speak, the vulnerability in his eyes, and the courage required to confront not only his pain, but the fear of a life forever changed. One late afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the hospital blinds, Michael looked at Julia with a mixture of awe and introspection. "I keep thinking about that moment. When I woke up," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "It was like seeing life through a lens I'd never had before. And in that clarity, all I could see was you, standing there, unwavering, waiting for me." Julia took his hand gently, squeezing it. "I never left, Michael. I promised myself I'd be there, no matter what. But seeing you like that, it shook me in ways I didn't know were possible." Psychologists often note that near-death experiences can act as a catalyst for profound emotional honesty, bringing to light truths that are often ignored in everyday life. For Julia and Michael, these truths were intertwined with years of unspoken fears, miscommunications, and unacknowledged love. The accident had created a space where both could finally confront these hidden emotions, without the distractions or defenses that had previously defined their interactions. "Julia, I need to say this," Michael continued, his voice breaking. "Before the accident, I was blind to so many things. I took our life together for granted, focused on work, routines, not realizing that every day is fragile. Now I see how much you've carried me through, not just physically, but emotionally. I don't ever want to forget that again." Julia, moved by his confession, responded softly, "We can't change the past, Michael. But what we can do is embrace the present fully, every moment. We survived this together, and that makes our bond stronger than anything I've ever known." Their conversation, though private, reflected a universal lesson: the power of vulnerability, and the transformative effect of witnessing and acknowledging the fragility of life. Friends who visited often remarked on the remarkable evolution in Michael's demeanor. Where there had once been hesitation, now there was a quiet openness, a willingness to be present and authentic. Julia's steady support, coupled with her own reflective approach to healing, created an environment where emotional growth could flourish. She often shared, in moments of introspection, how the accident had not only reshaped her understanding of love, but also of human resilience. "Life is unpredictable," she said during one quiet evening walk in the hospital garden, "but what matters is how we choose to respond, how we choose to love, and how we allow ourselves to be seen." Michael's rehabilitation, both physical and emotional, became intertwined with these moments of reflection. Each therapy session, each tentative step forward, was a metaphor for the deeper journey they were undertaking together. He began to articulate his feelings with a clarity that surprised both him and Julia. "I never realized how much I've been afraid to be vulnerable," he admitted one evening, as rain streaked softly across the window pane. "But with you, I can finally face that fear. I can finally be honest." The couple also engaged in reflective conversations about the future. Julia emphasized the importance of building a life grounded not in assumptions or unspoken expectations, but in conscious presence and mutual understanding. "We have a second chance," she said. "A chance to rewrite our story, not based on fear or past mistakes, but on deliberate choices, honesty, and shared growth." Michael nodded, a quiet smile on his face. "Then let's make it meaningful, Julia. Let's live fully, every day." Experts observing their story often highlight the rare phenomenon of couples emerging stronger from shared trauma. These experiences, though painful, often catalyze an accelerated form of intimacy, where emotional transparency, mutual dependence, and shared resilience create bonds that are both profound and enduring. Julia and Michael's journey exemplify this principle. Their story became a testament to the power of love when coupled with intentionality, courage, and reflection. The broader public, following aspects of their journey through social media and shared narratives, began to engage deeply with the themes of resilience, vulnerability, and relational growth. Viewers expressed admiration for their unwavering commitment to presence, their willingness to confront pain without resentment, and their courage in embracing a future that was uncertain yet rich with possibility. One viewer commented, "It's a reminder that love isn't just about romance. It's about showing up, holding space, and growing together even when life tries to break you." Even simple, everyday actions became laden with emotional significance. Preparing meals together, reading quietly in the hospital garden, or simply sharing a smile after a small victory in therapy, each became a ritual of connection and affirmation. Julia often remarked, "It's in these small moments that we truly witness the depth of love." Michael agreed, adding, "I never realized how much the little things matter until I almost lost the chance to experience them with you." Amidst the healing process, the couple also confronted lingering fears and doubts. Michael sometimes questioned whether he could fully live up to the promises he now made. Julia, sensing his unease, reminded him gently, "We're not perfect, Michael. None of this is about perfection. It's about showing up, choosing honesty, and being willing to grow together." These conversations, observed by friends and medical professionals alike, highlighted a profound lesson: the transformative power of intentional emotional engagement. Trauma, while harrowing, can catalyze growth, provided that those involved are willing to confront their fears, embrace vulnerability, and actively nurture their relationships. Julia and Michael's story illustrated this truth vividly, offering a model for how love, resilience, and presence can coexist even in the aftermath of profound life-altering events. In one particularly moving conversation, Michael shared, "Julia, I never knew how fragile life could be until I faced it head-on. And now, seeing you here, supporting me, I realize that every moment is precious. Every word, every touch, it's a gift I don't want to waste." Julia, her eyes glistening, responded, "Then let's cherish it together. Not just survive, but truly live, every day, in full presence and love." Their evolving bond was not only a testament to personal resilience, but also to the human capacity for transformation through love. The public response mirrored these themes, as countless viewers expressed both empathy and inspiration. Many noted that Julia and Michael's story served as a reminder of the profound impact that care, attention, and vulnerability can have in nurturing relationships, especially when life's fragility is brought into stark relief. As Part 3 draws to a close, Julia and Michael's journey reaches the threshold of an emotional climax. Their recovery, reflection, and deliberate choice to embrace vulnerability have not only reshaped their relationship, but also provided a model of hope and courage for those who witness their story. The coming chapters promise both profound insights and the culmination of months of emotional, physical, and relational growth. Their story is poised to offer a deeply moving conclusion that underscores the power of love, presence, and the human spirit in the face of adversity. Julia and Michael's journey, as it approached its final chapter, carried the weight of both struggle and triumph, a testament to the resilience of the human heart. The months following their rehabilitation were not easy, yet they had created a rhythm that balanced reflection, gratitude, and the deliberate pursuit of joy. Julia often noted that every step Michael took, every moment of vulnerability shared, deepened their bond in ways that neither had anticipated before the accident. One evening, as they walked along the quiet riverside near their home, Michael paused, looking out at the water rippling in the fading light. "Julia, I've been thinking about how much I've changed. and how much this experience has taught me about love, life, and presence," he said softly. Julia nodded, her hand finding his. "I've learned too, Michael. That love isn't just about the big gestures. It's about showing up, listening, being present, and embracing the small, often overlooked moments." Their conversations often ventured into deep, reflective territory. "Do you remember the first time we held hands after the accident?" Julia asked, smiling at the memory. Michael laughed lightly, a sound tinged with nostalgia. "I remember. It felt like both the first time and 100th time all at once. Like life was giving me a second chance, and I didn't want to waste it." These recollections, shared in quiet spaces away from the world, were rich with emotional honesty and a mutual understanding that few relationships ever achieve. Experts in trauma recovery and relationship dynamics often emphasize that post-traumatic growth is facilitated not only by resilience, but also by active engagement in relational repair. Julia and Michael exemplified this principle. Their daily rituals, sharing meals, celebrating minor victories in therapy, and engaging in reflective conversations became the scaffolding for their renewed connection. Psychologists observing their story noted how the couple's willingness to embrace vulnerability, acknowledge mistakes, and communicate openly created a transformative effect that strengthened both their emotional and relational foundations. During one particularly poignant conversation, Michael admitted, "I sometimes fear that I might falter again, that I might not be enough." Julia gently reassured him, "Michael, it's not about being perfect. It's about choosing to love, choosing presence, choosing honesty every single day. That's enough, and it's more than enough." These words resonated not only between them, but also echoed the broader message of resilience and human potential, a reminder that growth is not linear, and courage is often measured by the willingness to keep moving forward despite fear. As their bond matured, both began sharing their experiences publicly through workshops, small talks, and social media reflections. Julia spoke about the importance of embracing vulnerability and presence in relationships, emphasizing that trauma, while harrowing, can catalyze profound emotional insight if met with intentionality and care. Michael discussed the necessity of reflection, accountability, and active participation in relational healing. Their joint messages were widely received with empathy and admiration, with many expressing that the couple's story provided both comfort and inspiration in facing their own challenges. One particularly moving moment occurred during a community event focused on resilience. Julia shared, "Life will inevitably present obstacles, moments that feel insurmountable. But it's in these moments that our character, our compassion, and our love are truly revealed. Michael and I have learned that being present for each other is the most profound act of love one can perform." Michael added, "And that presence requires courage, humility, and a willingness to be seen fully, without pretense. The accident taught me that, and I will carry it with me forever." Friends and family witnessed this transformation with awe, noting not only the emotional depth the couple had achieved, but also the ripple effect of their example. Their story became a beacon of hope for others navigating the aftermath of trauma or relational strain, demonstrating that even in moments of near loss, growth and renewal are possible. Julia's personal reflections also became an integral part of their narrative. She often journaled, documenting the evolution of their love, the challenges overcome, and the lessons learned. "Trauma doesn't just test us, it reveals us," she wrote. "It shows what we hold most dear, what we are capable of enduring, and how deeply we can connect when we allow ourselves to be truly seen." Michael's reflections mirrored hers, emphasizing the need for accountability, mindfulness, and emotional honesty. Together, their journaling and conversations formed a living archive of their journey, a testament to the power of shared growth. The culmination of their story arrived quietly but powerfully. On the anniversary of Michael's awakening, they returned to the hospital garden where much of their healing and reflection had occurred. Standing beneath the familiar trees, they exchanged a simple acknowledgement, a recognition of the journey endured and the love that had been fortified through adversity. Michael held Julia's hand gently and said, "Thank you for never giving up on me, for believing in us, for teaching me what it truly means to love." Julia's eyes glistened with tears, and she replied, "Thank you for showing me that even in the darkest moments, love can guide us home." Observers noted that this moment, unassuming yet profoundly emotional, captured the essence of their story. Love intertwined with resilience, vulnerability, and conscious presence. It was a reminder that relationships, like life, are fragile but capable of profound beauty when nurtured with honesty, courage, and reflection. Their journey underscored the lesson that true intimacy is forged not through perfection, but through the conscious choice to show up fully for one another, even when life is uncertain and daunting. Public reaction to the conclusion of Julia and Michael's story was heartfelt and widespread. Comments flooded in across social platforms, expressing admiration for their resilience and gratitude for the reminder that love, presence, and accountability are enduring virtues. Many noted that the couple's journey exemplified the transformative power of facing life's fragility head-on, and the ways in which emotional honesty can redefine connection. As the narrative drew to its final moments, Julia and Michael reflected on the lessons they would carry forward. They understood that life would continue to present challenges, but they now possessed a framework grounded in empathy, intentionality, and mutual respect. Their love was no longer defined merely by romantic gestures or fleeting passion, but by the steadfast commitment to presence, emotional transparency, and the courage to embrace life fully, even amidst uncertainty. In the closing scene, Julia and Michael walked slowly along the riverbank, hands intertwined, the sunlight casting long shadows as the day transitioned into evening. Their smiles were quiet but profound, reflecting the depth of understanding, gratitude, and enduring connection forged through shared trauma and recovery. It was a visual metaphor for their journey. The past acknowledged, the present cherished, and the future approached with courage and intention. This story, told not only as a narrative of survival, but as a testament to human resilience and the transformative power of love, leaves viewers with reflections that resonate deeply. It emphasizes that even in the aftermath of profound pain, growth, healing, and profound connection are possible when we embrace vulnerability, presence, and the willingness to be seen fully by another. Julia and Michael's journey stands as a powerful example of how life's darkest moments can catalyze the brightest growth, leaving a legacy of hope, empathy, and enduring love. Thanks for watching.